let's talk a little bit about the Animal Crossing Direct and update and have a little discussion on that. Talking first and foremost about what's new. So I have here the patch notes of the latest Animal Crossing update. For those of you that may not be in the know, maybe you haven't been in Animal Crossing for quite a while, you don't follow Nintendo on a regular basis, but you for some reason are listening to a super grassroots, low-key Nintendo podcast. I don't know. Here are the patch notes for the latest update. Animal Crossing had a huge overhaul here in November, along with the Nintendo Direct, and basically
3 years after its release too.
They basically have re-released the game as Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. They're reselling it at retail. They've added in a bunch of new stuff, a ton of new characters, and new things. And so here's a quick highlight of all the new updates, and then we'll get into I don't know if you've had a chance to play it, Zach. You've been pretty busy with Euro Truck Simulator, but I checked out the update just a little bit, not too much. I'm going to share a little bit of my impressions of it and what we think of it, and that'll lead us into our final topic of the day with what we want out of Animal Crossing Switch. And so here's the update. You can finally invite villagers to your town using Amiibo accessories. However, special NPC villagers, Animal Crossing Amiibo figure characters, will not move into your town. So KK Slider, Nook, etc.
Did you watch NVC?
Yeah.
And didn't you hear Jose? He said that they do move into your town, and he said that he had like Ganon or somebody move in.
Yeah, that's different. This is referring to people like KK Slider and Tom Nook. You can scan those guys.
Okay, so like the Amiibo or the Animal Crossing Amiibo don't move in, but the other ones do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think there's Cap'n, KK Slider, the retail brother and sister, Tom Nook. There's Isabelle. Like, you can scan those in, and they'll visit.
That makes sense.
Your campground in an RV. And they'll sell, like, Cap'n will sell, like, boat stuff, I think, and KK Slider will sell, special KK Slider stuff, but they won't move in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which makes sense because, they already live in your town and they just work there.
Yeah.
Another part of the update, it contains a brand new campground area, which you've just mentioned, in the town where you can interact with villagers in new ways. I went to the campground. It was pretty cool. I hate where they added it in my town. It's like to the west of my village. They just basically destroyed one of my mountain ranges and just added in like a passageway to the campground. And I had like a forest over there where I had my peach trees, and they just like, yo, we're putting in a campground over here. And like, there's a path there, and it's not like it didn't destroy any of my property, but it was like, yo, this is supposed to be the secluded, peaceful area of my town where people go and they harvest the peach fruit. And whatever.
It seems like they could give you a few options of where you might want to place it.
Whatever. But, you can go there. There's like a water fountain there you can interact with, lots of tree stuff. Harvey's there. Harv for short or Harv for long. I thought that was silly. Other than that, though, it's just the RVs there. There's not too much interaction over there. All existing Animal Crossing Amiibo figures and cards are now compatible with the game. In addition to that, 50 new Animal Crossing Welcome Amiibo series cards will be available for purchase on December 2nd. December 2nd is also the day that Super Mario 3DS comes out, which is, I looked up that earlier. So, big day for Nintendo on December 2nd. You can tap a Welcome Amiibo card to invite the pictured character for a visit at your new campground. Also, the existing 400 Animal Crossing Amiibo cards will now work with the game. However, the characters will only appear in the town, not the campground. So they don't have their own RV. Only these 50 new ones have an RV. All of the villagers can be invited to move into your town. So the huge thing with this is, say, for example, my favorite, most cherished character in the game, Wolfgang. He hasn't moved away yet. Mm-hmm. He probably will never move away. Somewhere deep in the coding, the game says, don't you dare let this guy leave Kaz's town.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, he leaves, or say, for example, I decide to sell my town or whatever, and Wolfgang leaves. If I have the Wolfgang Amiibo card now, I can scan it in and just bring him back. So for me, that's a huge perk to find and seek out and pay money for the Wolfgang Amiibo card to basically have him guaranteed to always be with me because I have such a sentimental value with him.
Yeah.
And
same
so,
with me in Delhi.
Yeah, I have a Delhi card. I actually have an extra one, so maybe I can give that to you. And so you can have Delhi. no matter what.
Which I think he has that same sort of thing because I mean he's been there for a few years now and I've neglected him for quite some. Him and Gigi too, which is a little bit less of a favorite of mine, but has been there since the beginning, and we kind of have a little bit of a bond. The little frog girl, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, Princess
I
Mine.
think there's something to that. I didn't know that it actually worked. Like it was a legitimate thing because you said that you'd hit somebody, I think, with a net over and over again until they finally left. But when I
You
was
can do
listening
that, yeah.
to NVC about like leaving garbage on their step and all
Dead
this
head.
stuff, yeah,
Or like cut off someone's head and like leave it on their doorstep. Leave. There was some when I went to like the town bulletin board and put like, someone get Hamlet out of here. Like I don't want Hamlet here
yeah.
anymore.
Well, and they were saying now in this new feature too, when you invite people to move in, it will sometimes have you choose to.
Who you want to boot out, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can, if you collect enough amiibo cards, you can build up your ideal village. It's really, I think that's a huge perk
Yeah.
that I think is maybe being a little bit understated of like, you can now basically completely control and manage the citizens of your town, which is awesome.
Yeah, because there's actually one guy that moved away that I was pretty bummed about. I mean, I see him I see him, he goes up
Main
in
Street.
Yeah, and every time I talk to him, it's like so awesome because he's got his little catchphrases and stuff still, and I'm just like, man, I miss you living in my town. He's like a little penguin sailor guy or something, but
Yeah. So that gives me a huge incentive to start collecting the cards. And I think they have like little booklets you can get where you can like basically have like all your cards in one book. I may get on that train now.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can also tap select non-Animal Crossing amiibo figures to access new items unique to those characters. So that's the example where you can tap in like Epona, your Ganondorf amiibo, and they'll bring special stuff and they can move into your town. So that's super cool. All 16 Animal Crossing amiibo figures will feature Wii U console and new Nintendo 3DS XL, or yada 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 in their RV. By purchasing these items from the RVs, the player can access new minigames, Desert Island Escape, and Animal Crossing Puzzle League. I haven't played those minigames yet, but I do hear quite a few good things about them. It's also really cute to note that you can get those Wii U and 3DS items from fortune cookies, and the fortune for the Wii U is not all great art is appreciated during its time. And so it's kind of Nintendo putting their name out there and being like, yo, like we understand that people didn't appreciate the Wii U at its time, but they will. They're going to learn to love this thing. You can also link your Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer save data to access 20 giant figures or giant furniture items through the in-game catalog. And when the player's town is well developed, they now have the option to sell their town, and this will help you develop your new town more quickly. A couple things to note with this: if your tree is not like halfway or fully grown in your main town plaza, if you've just started out your new town or if you haven't developed your town much, Nook will give you no money for your town, and he also won't tell you that he's taking it. It'll just immediately sell it once you click that option, so be careful about clicking that option. And it's also worth to note that there are a couple options. You can sell your town and sell your access to your catalog and start from scratch for more money, or you can just sell your town but keep your catalog for a little bit less money, depending on how many items you have unlocked in your Nook catalog. And so I, for example, buy every item I see at the Nook store to build up my catalog. And so I'm actually considering selling my town and then keeping my catalog, which will allow me to get a bunch of money, start my house from scratch, and redesign a lot of things. Like I don't want my town to be named Woodbury anymore because I named it after the Walking Dead town where the governor lives, and then the Walking Dead went straight downhill. So I don't know if I want to have a town honoring Woodbury anymore. And also there's Woodbury, Minnesota. Like it's a real town. I want to like name it freaking Winterfell.
Like my town is still nice. It's history and still plays the little Michael Jackson history chime every time you go in and out of places. It's like it still kind of fits. You know, it's not too much hasn't changed for me about that. You know, so. But and I don't know, like when you go and do that, selling your town, can you ever go back and change that, is it just like kind of sold and now it's Nook's property and it's there?
Yeah,
maybe
if you sell your town, it's gone. It's basically like deleting your town and starting over.
But you just get money for it. Okay, I see. Yep.
And the big thing with that is like, say for example, you want to kind of for example, with me, I've spent a lot of money on some crap things. Like I've bought, some projects I didn't really want anymore. I've spent it on some other upgrades that maybe I don't want anymore. I've just it gives you basically a chance to completely refunnel your money into stuff that you know you like now that you've had a ton of time with the game. So I think it's a really cool option. I'm very heavily considering it, but the thing is if I sell it, I don't have Wolfgang anymore. And so I need to get that amiibo before I sell.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of playing if Wolfgang's not in my town? And the last bit of information that we can react to, and then I'll be into this discussion, is that, there's just the mini game. So we've talked about that. So really cool update. Definitely encourage you to get back into the game if you haven't been playing Animal Crossing for a while.
It's kind of my case, yeah. I haven't felt too inspired to get back in yet. I mean, I feel slightly, I got to get back in there, and like there's a lot of bugs and fish and stuff I still need to fill in my catalog completely. I haven't done that. I haven't gone completionist in it and try to get the platinum trophy for Animal Crossing New Leaf yet, which I kind of feel like I like to do that even if it's Nintendo. It's kind of like Smash. I still want to go in there, and sometimes I'll go in after a long absence and try to knock out some of those last challenges, but I just feel slightly but not. It didn't push me enough to go rushing, I need to get back in Animal Crossing. I mean, oh my gosh, I cannot deny that this update is so mind-blowing and amazing that I need to go relive a lot of what I've already experienced in Animal Crossing, because I played a lot of it, when it came out. Mm-hmm. It was one of those that was kind of up there with Pokemon on the 3DS in terms of how many hours I was sinking into it, and it just kind of gets in that. I mean, it's a nice job loop. It sort of gets you in of chores, and it's relaxing and it's fun. But I just haven't. I don't know. I haven't felt too inclined to run back to it. So.
Yeah, there's also some other updates with this, like Meow coupons and like a cat terminal sort of thing. We're going to talk about that a little bit in our next discussion. But overall, like someone with you, Zach, it's a good reason to get back in. And there's also daily incentives now. The update notes don't say that, but there's go collect 5 seashells and you'll get a bonus reward. So really cool things like that. Lots of good reasons to go back in. But yeah, so definitely go check that out.
Also, just kind of totally off topic, but maybe we should point it out in Koppai, is that, and this just kind of reminded me of it, that Pokemon Go is sort of having new migrations, I guess, supposedly, and it's going to be rewarding you for getting in every day and kind of
daily play.
Yeah, and so that's kind of a cool thing to keep in mind, that if you get back in there and if you've kind of been slacking on that, maybe just hop in once a day and check it out, and maybe you'll start seeing some new things, because I actually hatched an Ekans the other day and I had never seen one yet. And also, I've just been seeing a few new things, not things that I haven't caught necessarily, but just that haven't shown up in my neighborhood for a while. For a while, it seemed Pokemon Go was getting to a point where something happened and I was just seeing the same thing wherever I went. It was just Pidgeys and Rattatas and Weedles and, the occasional Drowsy or something, but it was just the same spawns constantly. I was never getting anything new anymore, so.
That can be the problem sometimes too with Animal Crossing, is you just go do the same thing over and over again, go harvest your fruit. And so with the daily incentives, and I like that with, it's the reason I love trophies. It's what I loved about Grand Theft Auto Online, and what I love about, all sorts of games are doing it now, where it's just these daily things, go check this out.
Yeah.
Destiny does it too. I play a ton of Destiny. I've talked about Destiny on the show, and there's daily and weekly bounties to do for extra incentives, for people to try new things. And so
it's just really it's a nice gameplay loop and stuff. And I used to love going in and catching the rare bugs to sell and just getting my money raised up so that I just have backup, millions in the bank. But I got trucking to do.
Yeah, you gotta play that Euro Truck Simulator. One last note is that if you do play the new update, in order to scan your amiibo in, you need Wisp. And you may not even know who Wisp is. It's a ghost genie guy.
Watch.
Yeah, he's the Yokai Watch guy. And you can only get him between midnight and 4 a.m. wandering around the town. So I don't know why that's so counterintuitive to have the main hook of your update rely on playing between midnight and 4 a.m. So go ahead and do some time travel maybe.
And so you did that, and you happened to
I haven't got him yet, no. I haven't done any of my amiibo stuff because I don't have Wisp. I don't even know freaking who Wisp was, so I thought that was pretty stupid.
Watch.
Yeah. The Yokai. Jamanian!